You are looking live at the White House. President Biden waking up at home this morning after his 8-day trip to Europe. This is his first trip overseas since taking office, culminating in that high-stakes summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
And both leaders, Amy, saying the meeting in Geneva was a positive step forward while making it clear the U.S. and Russia are still at odds on major issues like cyber attacks and human rights. Our senior White House correspondent, Mary Bruce, has the latest for us. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Robin. While President Biden is waking up here back at home at the White House, his team is heralding this trip as a success, including that high-stakes summit with Vladimir Putin. And while the two leaders did keep things cordial, they didn't actually resolve any of their differences. This morning, the U.S. and Russia still firmly divided. Overnight, President Biden touching down back in Washington after his whirlwind first foreign trip and that historic summit with the Russian president.
I did what I came to do.
The two leaders shaking hands and smiling for the world to see. Cameras brought in for a chaotic photo op.
I think it's always better to make face-to-face.
Putin slouching, Biden appearing relaxed. After more than 2.5 hours, both sides giving their talks a positive review. Biden even gifting Putin a pair of his signature aviators. Putin calling their discussions frank and very open.
I think there was no hostility, quite the contrary. The talks were quite constructive.
But Putin still defiant, denying all responsibility for cyber attacks and interfering in U.S. elections. And when pushed by our Rachel Scott on his crackdown on his political opponents, Putin deflecting, pointing to the Black Lives Matter movement in the U.S. and the January 6th attack on the Capitol.
Mr. President, what are you so afraid of?
And an entire movement developed known as Black Lives Matter. I'm not going to comment on that, but here's what I do want to say. What we saw was disorder, destruction, violations of the law. We don't want that to happen on our territory.
You didn't answer my question, sir. If all of your political opponents are dead, in prison, poisoned, doesn't that send a message that you do not want a fair political fight?
People came to the U.S. Congress with political demands. 400 people. Over 400 people had criminal charges placed on them.
Biden says he didn't issue threats, but says he made clear to Putin there will be consequences if he doesn't change his ways.
The bottom line is I told President Putin that we need to have some basic rules of the road that we can all abide by.
And on cybersecurity, after those attacks that crippled a U.S. gas pipeline and targeted the meat industry, Biden says critical infrastructure should be off limits, giving Putin a list of 16 prohibited areas from the energy sector to the water supply. And he's warning Putin the U.S. stands ready to retaliate.
I pointed out to him we have significant cyber capability, and he knows it. He doesn't know exactly what it is, but it's significant. I think that the last thing he wants now is a Cold War.
But Biden also bristling when pressed on why he thinks Putin will change his ways.
Why are you so confident he'll change his behavior, Mr. President?
Yeah, I'm not confident he'll change behavior. What do you do all the time? What I said was, let's get it straight. I said what will change their behavior is if the rest of the world reacts to them and it diminishes their standing in the world. I'm not confident of anything. I'm just stating a fact.
And the president did actually later apologize for that heated exchange. And while he says he's not confident Putin will change, Biden says there is a value to putting on an optimistic face. Now, as for what comes next, the president is taking a wait-and-see approach here, saying it could take 6 months to a year to see whether this dialogue had any real impact. Robin.
We'll see. All right, Mary, thank you. Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.